where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Hey UK Bills Mafia, this is Christian Wade of your Buffalo Bills. This is the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast with your hosts, Matt and Alex. Let's go Buffalo! Woo!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast, talking all things Bills with a UK twist. I am still Matt. Alex is still here. We're your hosts. Alex, how you doing?
You know, one thing I can't get over in this country is you guys don't put fly screens on your windows. I honestly can't handle it. It was the Sahara Desert in this country yesterday. It was like 33 degrees. I couldn't handle it. But I didn't want to open the windows because then you're getting flies in the house. How do you people deal with this?
We just let them fly around. But you know what? If there's nothing in the UK for that, try and find a way to actually get on Dragon's Den or bring it in and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Bring the business idea over.
All right. Yeah.
But no, it has been incredibly hot the last few weeks, not just in the weather, but also with the NFL and Bills news. Obviously, we've had the opt-outs, and probably the biggest talking point on there, obviously, was would and will have Trey White opted out or opted in? Obviously, we all know that. We all know that question, but that was the hot topic. That's not weather related, don't you think?
Yeah. So do tell, how nervous were you about Trey White's decision?
What, when he first announced it, or when he was actually considering it?
So when he posted that "I can't believe people are bothering me about this" on Twitter post, that was the first news that anybody ever saw about him possibly opting out, and that sounded like a definitive answer, you know?
Yeah.
So when he posted that, I was like, "Oh shit. Clearly he's going to opt out." But luckily that wasn't anything official. I mean, he was far and away our best player last year.
Yeah.
I like the Pro Football Reference approximate value. He scored 18, which was tied for fourth best in the entire NFL. So he was by far our best player. He's someone that we're going to need this season. If things go according to plan and we do play a full schedule, I mean, we have 9 games against top wide receivers. We have, and also don't sleep on this, but I'm gonna call Devontae Parker a top wide receiver. I mean, he had 1,200 yards last year, 9 touchdowns. He was the best AFC wide receiver last year. Then we have A.J. Brown in Tennessee, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Juju, and a mix of Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. So if Trey White isn't on this team this year, it drastically changes the effectiveness, I think, of our defense.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw it come on, I like most other fans on there, actually, yes, a part of me was actually crying deep down inside, and actually praying to the gods that it was only just him still making his mind up and hadn't decided yet. But for me, I understand it. I would understand why he wants to do it. He said it's actually affected him personally with his other half's, was it grandfather, I think?
Father or grandfather, yeah.
Yeah. So I can understand, I can see why he's actually doing it. And all the players have actually opted out. I can see why they want to do it. If they've got young families, they want to make sure that they can provide, don't get anything untoward, because even though they're professional athletes, their bodies are probably in the peak fittest shape they could be. Anyone could get struck down by it, and we've seen all over the world what it's actually going to what it can do to people.
Yeah, long-lasting side effects.
Yeah,
even after you get healthy, quote unquote, from it. But
and it's not just they said originally it was all the everyone in the vulnerable category, so the over 70s and over, but with underlying health conditions. But more and more we've seen people younger with no health conditions actually facing it. So it's going to be a struggle. Will we have a season? Most likely, yes, because only 69 dropped out. But there's a whole lot of rules and regulations coming in now to actually help ease the season and make it easier for teams. But with trade back and the amount of players the Patriots have actually lost through opting out, the way the Jets have lost Jamal Adams and Quincy Inouye, who I thought was a good receiver, and Robbie Anderson, and Dolphins still in their rebuilding mode, I think it was vital, and I'm super glad that Trey's actually back, and that we can just focus on that other side, whether it be Josh Norman or Levi Wallace.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago we were talking about the Patriots and Cam Newton, and I was a little bit worried about it. But now looking at all the people that they lost, it just looks a little bit easier for us. I mean, so ultimately Trey opts in, and I think one of the biggest things about it is, and I'm sure that the NFL did this on purpose, is the financial impact of allowing the players to opt out. If you opt out, you only get $150,000 this year, and it's not even money off your salary. It's a loan off of next year's salary. So that's the max any player can make based off their salary. Now, I'm sure some of them have signing bonuses sitting in savings accounts and everything like that. But honestly, guys who make millions, the top players, they have a lifestyle to maintain, and they have bills to pay. So simply, they couldn't afford to opt out. And I mean, I would think that there was a lot of conversations that Trey had with coaches and management. The players are putting their safety in the hands of these people. Us and the players, I mean, we can only hope that it all works out. I mean, I know I mentioned a lot on the show about, how baseball is just not handling it well. But no one has gotten deathly ill. I mean, players are testing positive, but it's, low effectiveness. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I mean, like, no one's deathly ill from it. If they're getting it, they're showing, weak symptoms. But I mean, you look at basketball and hockey, they're back now, and they're having a good go at it, but they're playing in a bubble. So, they're not having that exposure. I mean, NFL players, it's travel, it's hotel, they're interacting with a lot of people all the time still. And it's just one of those things that's just like, what's going to happen? We don't know. I mean, we talked a lot about, we have a few shows coming up where we talk about it with other teams and our team opponent previews. But like, what's your outlook on the season? I mean, are you thinking it's going to be fine? Do you think that there's going to be like a mass exodus of sickness and players on the injured list? I mean, do you think everything's going to be fine, or do you think that it's just going to be a shit show? What do you think?
I think it's going to be fine. I mean, each team is obviously putting through their own protocol for it. You can see how the Bills are actually buying into it, and obviously that's shown by all the by the opt-outs that we've actually had, which has just been EJ Gaines and Star Lutulele.
Yeah.
If the Bills, I'm just talking Bills obviously because this is the Bills podcast. The Bills must have put something in place, the protocols in place that actually made the players feel, okay, they've got it under control. We're happy in this environment. We know what we're going to do. We're happy to play.
Yeah.
Other teams may not have that protocol, or they're not having their players really buy in, especially like, say, for example, New England. Obviously, we don't know what their protocol is, but are the players actually buying in? But with Buffalo, we know what the players' mindsets are. We know how the players work with each other, and they're actually buying into the process that Beane and McDermott are putting in. So I can see, at least for the Bills, it being good, and the rules that are coming out regarding any players getting tested positive for COVID, like on the day or anything like that, you can bring up players within a few hours. with
Yeah,
no.
it was Singletary who said like they're getting tested almost every day, and he feels really comfortable about it. I know that there's a really good relationship between the players and the coaches, and management, and like the training staff, and like the health and medical on this team. So I feel really confident that this whole organization is really tight and close and well communicated about it.
Yeah.
I just don't feel the same about the NFL as a whole, though.
Oh yeah, no, the NFL and the whole, I say it,
It's all about money to them.
it could. They just want it obviously to progress, so they actually have something going through. Obviously, you see, I don't know if you're following college that much, but most of the FCS, so the Division Two, Division Three leagues, are all stopping and actually postponing the league for a year, and we're seeing players there actually even in FBS level actually opting out for the season. So it's one of those ones that
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
really.
minor league baseball can't. I mean, baseball, it's just as deep as like like I know that the English Premier League is just like the top tier, but then they have like relegation and stuff like that. It goes down, 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 down. Same thing with baseball. All of their minor leagues have been canceled, so it's really only the top money leagues that are still going through with things.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there is going to be people are probably going to say there's going to be no what you call it, no season. It may be a dodge season, and whoever wins the Super Bowl is going to have that asterisk next to their name saying it's not a proper Super Bowl win.
I mean, not as long as they play a full schedule, I can't see an asterisk conversation happening here. In baseball, yeah, they play 162 games, but this season they're only playing 60. I mean, that's like a lockout. That's shortened half season that they had in the early 90s. I can't say that this NFL season is going to be any more different than any other season as long as they play all of their games. Preseason, nobody wants a 4-game preseason. We've been trying to get rid of that for years now. Training camp might be a little different. I think the biggest impact is no fans at the stadium, and or some teams yes, some teams no. We don't know yet, which is a little disheartening getting so close to the season. But yeah, it's just we're still in that wait and see, even though the season starts in like 33 days.
Yeah. So my question to you, we've obviously I mentioned the two opt-outs we've had, EJ Gaines and Star Lutulele. Do you think that's going to be a hindrance for the Bills, or do you think it shows the depth we have that
Yeah, I mean,
we're not really going to miss them?
we talked about Star on our last show, and he, we have depth at that position with Harrison Phillips coming back, so I'm not worried about losing him. He's good in the run defense, but Ed Oliver with a year of experience is going to take a huge step forward, so he needs more time anyway. I liked the signing of EJ Gaines. I think that depth at cornerback is always necessary, but it's not a backbreaker, So I'm not too worried about that. I mean, the one thought I had about the Patriots and all their opt-outs is the players saw an opportunity to be like get away from like the wrath of Bill Belichick, and I imagine the way he runs that team is miserable for the players. I just have that feeling, mostly because I hate them, but it's just seeing that they're the team that has like the most opt-outs. It's like, is there another reason why? Like, can we conspiracy theory this for a second?
They're scared of what was it? Most of the secondary, wasn't it, of the Patriots? Was it? They've opted out, or was it a few? Maybe they're scared of what the Bills have done in the off season. They just don't want any part of the murder that's going to happen and the massacre that's going to happen.
I just don't think that Bill Belichick is a fun coach to play for, and the players saw an opportunity to like just take a year off and get away from his, crazy antics. But that's just me hating the Patriots more than making a logical decision on why that's the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest with me, with the signing, I mean, they've actually got a load of players back now from their reserve COVID list. They got Vincent Taylor back. They signed Niall Scott. The Bengals a Division 3 recruit a couple of years back, who's actually a good run stopper. But one thing I like they've done, obviously, with EJ getting out, obviously they've now got Saran Neal, Dane Jackson back. They've gone out and actually signed that Akeem King from Seattle. Another, he's a veteran, played for a while, and obviously younger than Norman, older than Levi Wallace. So he's in that middle. He's had that experience that could provide that competition for that. So it's going to be something interesting to watch in the in training camp.
Yeah, I think one thing that you'll see with our secondary is Josh Norman's going to start the season hot, and then maybe, excuse me, and then maybe fall off just due to his age.
Yeah.
And so it's good that we have, these young guys that can maybe step in once he kind of teeters off. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he can rekindle some kind of fire. But sorry, I have like a bug in my throat or something.
We're still recording. Carry on.
Yeah, they're all over the place because my house doesn't have any screens on the windows. But let's move on to the other news. We have the Feliciano injury and the Winters signing.
Yes, I think that's a good move. I mean,
Absolutely.
Jets fans laughing and saying, "Oh, he's been cut from the Jets. Why he's gone to the Bills? Gee, that's just such a crappy move. Why are you actually signing in such a crap guard and all that?" But the fact is that he only gave up one sack or 3 pressures or something like that in last season, or something like that. And with that O-line of the Jets, that's pretty good. And you've got a veteran, in effect, to replace a veteran.
Yeah.
So that is actually a good move, and it shows really how the Bills front office are actually working and actually learning compared to what, yes, the Jets have had a good draft, but their player management, and obviously that's being run by Gase, obviously the draft by their new GM, but Gase shows what poor evaluator of talent he could be, especially if Winter starts for the whole season and actually ends up being like Quinton Spain.
Well, that's a good comparison that you make there, because Winters, the way I evaluate, he looks to be on the same level as like Feliciano and all those guys. Like I mentioned earlier, the Pro Football Reference approximate value stat is on the same level as Feliciano and Morse. He's just under Dawkins, so he's a guy who will step in and start, and I don't think we're going to see any drop-off in production from our offensive line. Based off of that stat last year, he was the Jets' best offensive lineman. So Jets are just, this is New York for you. The Jets fans are just going to shit on anybody who's not on their team. They're very emotional fans. They're very illogical fans. So because he's gone, he's not good anymore.
Yeah. It also puts into perspective that obviously signing Winters is probably signaling that they are actually going to keep Ford at guard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. That's contrary to what they said earlier in the offseason, but it's a good problem to have. So whatever happens, I'm not going to overthink it, because it's, you just got to trust this coaching staff, and I do I 95% trust this coaching staff. So
yeah. So it's one of those. It's one of those. It's good that they're showing initiative, and they're actually showing depth.
Yeah, thank you, Jets, for dropping your best offensive lineman. We lost one and we got one back, so thanks. It's
exactly. And I was going to finish off with a couple of bits of news. Obviously, recently the Bills have rescheduled Diggs's contract, and also he's been quoted.
Restructured. Yep.
He's been what did I say?
You said rescheduled.
his schedule. Well, it's
Yeah, we're gonna
it's
let him
too hot.
take the year off. We'll have his contract start next year.
But no, he's come out recently and said this about Josh Allen, which goes, he's going into year 3 as a quarterback, as a guy, big arm, big quarterback, a lot of heart. He runs around a lot. He's mobile, can extend the play. He does a lot of things extremely well. He goes on to say he's more so focused on how I can help him. Anything I can do to help him. I'll always be in his ear, have communication with him, and if he needs something from me, I'm just there to be a supporting cast on whatever he needs and play receiver. Now, to me, that shows a guy who's actually committed to the cause, and he was super excited to come to Buffalo. And you're seeing all these Minnesota fans saying, "Oh, he's a diva. He tried to force his way out." If that's the case, why does he come back and say, "I'm committed. I'm actually happy to be here"? It shows that he's not really a diva. He's here because he wants to play football and actually feels that he's got a good quarterback that actually can help develop not just himself, but obviously Josh Allen as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a testament to, like I said, I mean, I've been praising the coaching staff and management this whole show. Diggs feels comfortable here. He feels welcome. He feels, wanted. Minnesota might just have not shown him the respect that he felt he deserved. I'm always weary of giving a player praise for saying, quote unquote, the right thing. Of course, he's going to say nice things about Josh. That's his quarterback. He's on this team. He's not going to be honest or anything. He's not going to be like, well, Josh has a lot to work on. He's not going to say the stuff that we say. So it's nice to see. It's nice to hear him say the right things because allegedly, I think it's been overblown. But he said some stuff in the past. I'll never fault a player for being, honest and candid. So often in these post-game interviews, you have players reading off of a script, and it's just boring. I that's why we love Stevie Johnson, because he just said it and he did it, and it was entertaining. Speaking on that, I just wanted to touch on one thing going back to Trey White. I don't want to take up too much time on it, but I don't understand why, like athletes and celebrities choose to publicize their public business on Twitter. Twitter is a hellscape. Twitter can get real dirty and real disgusting real fast. There's no repercussions for people to be assholes online. So they just they let the worst of them come out. And, for someone to say something honest like that, I respect it because I'm a decent human being. But the fact that he said that people gave him shit about it, like, that's why, like, if I'm a player, I'm not going to have a Twitter or an Instagram, I mean, are you really making money off of that? I don't know. It's hard to say why anybody would want to have their phone constantly blowing up with criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just I would imagine it to be very stressful.
Yeah.
The good news is, though, contrary to what he said in his post, the mentions and the comments on that post were like 95% positive. So,
Exactly.
I mean, Bills Mafia, the real, true Bills Mafia supported his decision on that. Every fan base has shitty fans. There's shitty people all over the world, and the internet lets them be shitty. So hopefully Trey will focus more on the positive that came out of that conversation and not the negative that he was speaking of.
Yeah. So obviously one last thing I want to, before we wrap this up, I just want to touch back on what the league is actually doing, i.e. COVID. Is that they now get, each NFL team get a 16-player NFL practice squad. Teams will be allowed 6 players with an unlimited number of accrued seasons. So if he's played for over a decade, they can stash him on the practice squad. And teams are allowed up to 6 of those veterans on there. And also you've got you can protect 4 practice squad players, but only from the Tuesday after the previous week through to Sunday or Wednesday if they play Monday Night Football. They can't be signed during that week by anyone, but any other practice squad member can, and also when it starts, teams can reactivate an unlimited number of players from IR or the non-football injury list, and once that player's been on there for 3 games minimum. So once the team then allows a player to practice again, they'll have 21 days to reactivate him to the active roster.
Okay.
So they're bringing a lot of rules to allow now teams to be flexible, which obviously is good. And for a guy like Beane, I've said it to a few people, for a guy like Beane and the way he can move in the and McDermott as well, the way he can move players around, actually sign good players. That's almost like him rubbing his hand like Monty Burns in the the Simpsons, going excellent.
He's gonna be able to really experiment and stuff. Maybe we see Christian Wade on the NFL roster. Do you know if the rules are still different for him?
He still be if they do put him in the international practice, use the extra slot. It would be the same as last year.
Okay.
So if they use him, so they could.
So if he comes up, he's got to stay. If he stays on the practice squad, he's protected and he doesn't count against the roster.
Yeah, but if they want to actually potentially use him, they can cut him, sign him as practice, and every week use him as one of the 4 slots.
Okay.
To actually preserve him for that week. So they'd have a choice there. Do you call him up to your roster? Do you sit him for another year to learn and go next year, or do you bring him on and every week only have 3 spaces in the roster as a protected practice squad player?
Gotcha.
So that is quite interesting. Interesting decision, but that's probably all the main talking Bills news we actually had.
Yeah,
we could probably go over a couple more, like Matt Milano saying he's not worried about the contract, he just wants to stay in Buffalo. Dawson Knox actually practicing with George Kittle, but we could talk ages on Bills news, but we just want to end it there, save it for another episode, and we're just here to now promote our new YouTube page and obviously our social media, because we've got a lot of good content coming up on that, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun putting those YouTube videos together. We're hoping to get every opponent that we have this year on a video conference, and those will be up on the YouTube channel. So we'll put the link in the description of this show. You'll see the links on our Twitter, UK_Bills. Find us, UK Bills backers, on Facebook. Join the group. Join the conversation. We're really looking to build and grow this thing. We see a lot of NFL UK groups out there, 2,000, 3,000 followers on Twitter. We want to be up there with the best of them. We're working hard to bring you content. We want you guys to get involved, so join us. We
were up to that amount until there was a human error, rolled his eyes, whistles his lips, look away. Actually, made us restart, but that's
I'm not going to say who it was, but I don't think it was the American. But I don't know. We'll see.
It was the Russians. It was the Chinese. Blame on them. Blame on them. It wasn't me. It was the Chinese. It's Hawaii. Huawei. That's the one.
Huawei.
It was them.
5G. Yeah.
It was them. But yes. So, we do implore, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Buffalo Bills UK. Obviously, we'll put team previews up. We'll obviously have them through the podcast channels as well. We'll look to put in highlight videos, hype videos.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun stuff.
We'll even go back and try and put some of our old previous podcasts,
some of the good
on
ones
there as well. So follow that. As I say, Buffalo Bills UK. Hit the subscribe button. As I said, UK_Bills on Twitter, at RWBB_podcast for the podcast Twitter, UK_Bills for Instagram, Buffalo Bills UK Facebook. Get involved, get subscribing. A lot of good stuff's happening in the upcoming future. I know that for sure because I'm working with on a top secret project at the moment.
Uh-oh, I don't even know about that.
No one does.
Okay.
Well, maybe one person does, but It's going to take a while coming, but
Okay.
the wheels are in motion.
All right.
And to all those actually that put interest in for the fantasy league, that is getting worked on this afternoon. Well, Saturday this time, and people will be getting invites to the representative leagues.
Great.
So
That'll be
keep an
fun.
ear out. Yeah. So keep an ear out. Keep subscribing, and actually following us. And is there anything else you want to add, Alex?
That's it for me.
Okay, so that's it for Alex. That's it for me. All I can say now is good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Thank you for tuning in, listening, subscribing, and go Bills!
Go Bills!